Hi, my name's Shorful and welcome to another one of my videos where I talk about the real world of data. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how do you securely move files, data files, from one location to another, okay? And this may occur when you are working with a client or your own company where the data is in an infrastructure where you can't go in and analyze it directly in the infrastructure, and you need to move the data from one place to your laptop to analyze it. And this is probably particularly applicable to data scientists, but also applicable to data analysts. So let me just show you what I mean. Okay, so what you have is a data warehouse where there's some data that you need to get from here to your laptop, okay? And there's no way of actually remoting in to this infrastructure to access this data securely. So they don't have the capabilities for you to remote into their environment, or it's locked down, which means that no external machines can come in. But you need to get that data out, and you've agreed all the GDPR or the privacy policies around the data, and you need to come up with a secure way of transferring the data from their data warehouse and their infrastructure to your laptop. And you could be either in the same building, in another building, in another part of the country, or even another part of the world, okay? But you need to find a secure way of moving data from A to B. So this is my suggested solution. So if you want to move data securely from a client or a host environment to your laptop very securely, one of the solutions is to use an SFTP server. Now, to get access to an SFTP server is basically having a web hosting service, okay? So if you have somewhere where you host websites, you should also find that it gives you the functionality to also initiate an SFTP server, or it has the functionalities for an SFTP server. Now, my web hosting service, I can log into that and I can find an area in the admin console that says set up an SFTP, okay? And when you set up an SFTP, what it is exactly like setting up a web service, I guess, because what you have is a host name, so like a URL. Obviously, because it's secure, you will have a username and password, which you will share with the owners of the data. They will log in, and then they will be able to upload the data into the SFTP securely, and then you would download the data securely. So not only is it secure in transit, it's secure in storage, and then it's secure when you download the data from that. So let's imagine that the SFTP server is here. Okay. So what will happen is you will remote into your SFTP server, and you would set up, or you would typically have a host name, okay, which will be issued by the hosting provider. You can customize it because you can actually create a folder within your SFTP server just for this client. So if you have multiple clients, for example, you can set up multiple folders, and each of those you can link direct. You can give a link to that client only, or to that data owner only, and they will upload the data just to that specific folder. But for now, let's just assume we have one folder for one client. So you'd log in, you'd get a host name, you would then get a username, and then obviously a password, okay? You would then provide these details to your host or your data host, or your data owner, or the client, whoever it is, and you would ask them to log into your SFTP. Now, typically, if you want to log into an SFTP, you can actually use Windows File Explorer to log into an SFTP. It's just like accessing a folder structure, okay? But my recommendation is to use a program called FileZilla. Okay, I'll put the link down to that below, and it's really easy to use. So literally you log in, you put in the host name, username, password. It asks you for a port. The default port is usually 21 or 22, but you don't actually need it. Most of the time it will connect in, okay? Unless you have a bespoke setup where you need to give the exact port, typically you can do without the port. But anyway, what will happen then is that the owners of the data will log in, they'll put in the host name, they'll put in the password, username, they'll put in the password. They can then literally just copy over the data from there into their application. So if they're using a PC or a laptop, they'll drag it into that, and that will copy it over to the SFTP server, okay? So now the data's moved from their environment securely to the SFTP server. And then what would happen is that you would log into the SFTP server using FileZilla, and you would then draw this data down into your laptop, okay? Now, obviously, once it's in your laptop, you have to make sure your laptop is secure. Otherwise, that's the weakest link, because then if someone wants to hack your laptop, put some kind of malware, they can access that data. So make sure you have good security on your laptop. But once you brought it down, then you have essentially moved data very securely from the host or the data owner area into the SFTP down to your own laptop. If you wanted to add added level of security, you could ask them to encrypt the data at their end, and then just give you the encryption key. So then not only is it secure as it's going through transit, it's also secure in the file itself. So if someone did intercept for whatever reason, they couldn't open the file because it's encrypted, okay? But I've generally found that there's no need for that, okay? This approach works very well, and what you'll find is that most clients and their IT teams are very comfortable with you using this method. Okay, well, thank you for listening to my video. I hope you found that useful. Like I said, if you're a data scientist or even a data analyst and you've got this challenge of moving data from point A to point B being your laptop, but you need to do it securely and you need to reassure IT that it's secure in transit, then obviously SFTP is a good solution. Okay, like I said, always make sure that your laptop is very secure, you have the most recent antivirus, and that you also encrypt your hard disk, so that if anything should happen, the data will stay secure. Thank you for watching my videos. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the YouTube comment section below. Please do like the video so I get an idea of if this is the kind of content that you guys enjoy watching or listening to. And of course, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.